Hi, Blastpop here. Today, I'm going to do a What's in the Box for Pax Romana, which is by GMT Games. This is the second printing from 2015. It's the ancient Mediterranean world, 300 BC to 50 BC, designed by Richard Berg. This uses a point-to-point system for your map and is a game that's got a lot of possibilities in terms of, a lot of historical flavor, multiplayer games. It's even solitaire suitable. There's a lot of different forces. There's several scenarios. Several scenarios have appeared in the past in C3I magazine by GMT Games as well. And what's in the box? Well, this is the box. And on the back, you can see a little bit about the contents in the write-up. Includes 5 counter sheets, a 22 by 34 inch full color mounted map board, 55 event cards, a couple 11 by 17 inch player aid cards, standard rules, advanced rules, and again, you can see some of the pictures and items in the game, and shows a high solitaire suitability in the lower reaches of that category. And one of those kind of games that is very interesting just because not only the period it covers, but the variability and the randomness in the system. Comes in a 2-inch box. And what the interesting thing is, because there were so many items in the box and the thickness of the box and being a mounted board, which you see here, it had a hard time fitting into the box, so they had to put the cards in a couple of separate packs to be able to fit it in the box, which means counter storage probably be somewhat problematic. Beyond your baggies, a couple of nice D6s. You got the cards here. I'll open up one of these packs. And nicely illustrated with background illustrations. Pirates, Pontus Rebellion, Soldier of Fortune, Successor Wars, Traitors, Rebel Resurgence. Very nicely done. And the second part of the 55 card stack looks similar. Rules of play. It weighs in at 48 pages. It's not a lightweight game by any measure or stretch. It is somewhat complicated. You got leaders, land movement, interception, isolation and attrition, cavalry and elephants in battle, naval operations. So, and then of course it's the interaction between the two. Independence, militia, barbarians, everybody's favorite, next to zombies. Other units, victory, stability, events. For the standard game, use markers instead of the cards. The advanced game adds the cards, and so on. Your sequence of play. You start off with an income phase, maintenance, you pay for maintenance, removal phase for units and things that need to come off the board, leader selection phase, manpower phase, activation phase, events phase, payment segment, card segment, if you're using the advanced game, operations segment, recruitment, calling a meeting. Sounds like work. New activation marker segment, attrition, land units, fleets, victory phase, player order determination phase. So it's not a simple game, but appears to be a very flavorful game. Additionally, in Pax Romana, you also receive a playbook, Again, second edition. Includes several scenarios, 10 scenarios, and again, as I mentioned earlier, there are several scenarios that are available as well on the C3I magazine. Important things like how to win. The scenarios, some are set for the standard game only. Advanced game only. An ultra historical scenario. There's a lot in this package. An example of play, which is great, except it's somewhat bereft of illustrations, but I'm sure you can follow along on the map. Player's notes, developmental notes, additional charts. Two identical player A cards, unit charts, victory, benefits of cities and towns, a battle reference chart to make sure you don't miss any important points, battle points, combat, you have battle odds and shift table, handy dandy chart, percentage loss chart, a Babylon booty call table, interesting, sequence of play again in an abbreviated format, and a garrison table. Again, this is 2 copies. Now, it's upwards of 5 players, so you're going to have to share some of those charts and tables with each other as needed. Okay, counter sheet 2. These are, I believe, the 1/2 inch size in this particular counter sheet. In the back. Very nice, sort of like Great Battles of History type counters. System markers, which is counter sheet 1. Feel free to pause the video to look at these more at your leisure. Money, counter sheet 5, in denominations of 1, 5, and 10. And for those who are more traditional Roman numerals. Nice touch. Counter sheet 4. These counters are probably 7/8 in size, bigger counters for towns and cities and fleets, so they stand out a little bit better. Counters are popping off the sheet. Nicely punched, I guess. Counter sheet 3. In the back. Each player receives a player card. And I think they're all fairly identical. To keep track of your income, your fleets and your armies, your money, provinces, cities, and towns. So you have for Carthage, the East, which there were several empires during that period. Rome, the center of attention, the big boy, the interesting position to play in the ancient world. Greece. Now looking at the map, as I mentioned earlier, it is point to point. You have areas that are dots, which are areas that you can move through, but you can't stay. Shipping routes. And you have a few various and sundry items on the board to keep track of events. Game turns, your stability levels. Again, another sequence of play. Your play order. Down here you have a movement points remaining to track. So as you do things as you move. So you have Greece, Asia Minor, the East, Carthage, Hispania. You have Gaul. And up in the north you have Britannia. Nicely mounted board. Otherwise, the counters themselves are the brown core. A little bit thicker, but not too thick so that stacks will fall over, that kind of thing. Again, nicely done. A nice package. This probably is the kind of game that will probably remain in my collection due to the variety of gameplay and the subject matter. So this might be a desert island game. Anyway, please comment, like, and subscribe. This has been Blastpop. Bye.